in a position straight away. We're going to be on our spines with either the bolster or block or 2 blocks. Actually, let's start with 1 block. 1 block or the bolster under the hip. So we'll come down onto the spine first with the feet on the mat. And we'll just pick up the hips and then place them back down. And just feel the spine resting, the shoulders resting. And then press into the feet to slide under the bolster or a block. That's it. And we're going to stay in that position or extend the legs down the mat so that the legs are as straight as they can be without feeling too much in the lower back. Okay. So in Yin, we sort of travel through 3 stages. We first find comfort in the pose. And then once we can find that comfortable position, we try and locate our breath. And in Yin or in a relaxing class, we would breathe in and out of the belly area. Sorry, in and out through the nose, but expanding and contracting in the belly. So sending the breath low in the torso, inhaling, feeling that slight expansion as you press out the belly, exhale, and let the belly soften. So that's stage 2, then going in and finding the breath. And then stage 3 is to find stillness, to be as still as we can be. We're going to be here for a while I read a little bit from a book called Yin-spired by Bernie Clark. Okay. And at the moment, we're looking at the noble truths. And the noble truths in the Buddhist philosophy, there are 4. The first one we looked at last month, which is suffering. Suffering exists. And then this month we're looking at the cause of suffering, or the causes of suffering. Last week we looked at the first 2 that were given. And the first is any particular clinging to spiritual practice or routine, clinging to or attaching ourselves to a routine or practice. The second was clinging or grasping to certain views, certain ideas or opinions. And today we're going to look at 3rd and 4th of this causes of suffering. The 3rd form of clinging is the grasping to the sense of self. This is a form of asmita or ego, which was described in classic yoga. Everything that occurs in the world is interpreted in terms of how it affects or doesn't affect me, in inverted commas, or the small self. Okay, and then there's one more form of clinging which creates suffering for us. And this clinging is to pleasure sensations. The Buddha did not say that pleasure was bad. He made no moral judgment about pleasure or pain. What he warns against is clinging to pleasure. Just as there will be times in life when pain is present, there will be times in life when pleasure is present, and to enjoy those moments, but when they go, to let them go. And then to enjoy the moments as they rise and leave them in the past once they are gone. So if we can focus today on either one of those, if they make sense to you. It's a form of clinging, a form of grasping, either onto the sense of self and how things affect me, or the grasping of pleasure and wanting to hold on to this. Okay, so now we'll bring our feet back onto the mat. We'll press into the feet to pick up the hips and then take out whatever was under our sacrum, under our hips to one side. Let the spine come gently back down onto the floor, onto the mat. Okay, just allowing the back to feel comfortable once again. And then we'll pick up the feet and send the soles up to the sky. Just one breath, inhale and exhale. And then give your knees a hug. Hug them in, bend the knees, hug the knees and the thighs over the belly. Just one breath, inhale and exhale. And then the feet come down to the mat again. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, softening into the belly. And then roll over to one side to come up to a seated position. And we're going to do some breath work as we sit in our easy pose, Sukhasana or Siddhasana. Just establish that breath in the belly. You can place a hand on the belly if that helps. To inhale, expand, and exhale. You can even watch the hand come closer into the belly as you exhale. Inhale, expand, and feel the hand being pushed away. Exhale, just allowing the belly to soften. Let's do two more. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's see if you can continue that breath without the hand. Inhale and exhale. Wonderful. Okay, let's take a child pose now. So we're going to take 2 minutes, allowing our bodies to settle into a comfortable child. So if the hips have a gap between the heel, then you could always fill it with a block or cushion or blanket even. Let the elbows relax, let the forearms relax. The hands could even travel back towards the feet. Let the forehead rest, or at least let the neck be relaxed, to let the head feel heavy. Maybe it's dangling, or maybe it's placed on a block or a cushion or the mat. And then return to the breath in the lower body, in the belly region. Inhale, expand, even against the legs. And exhale to soften. Inhale to expand. Exhaling to soften. And here, now that we have found our stillness, our breath rhythm, maybe in the mind we might want to contemplate on what it is that we cling to. Is it something about our own opinion? Or is it something about how things impact on me and affect me? Or is there something about wanting to grasp and hold on to pleasurable experiences? Continuing the breath like a wave coming in, expanding into the belly, And exhaling, softening, like the wave taking away what we no longer need to hold on to. Inhale, expand into the belly. What, maybe imagining the waves coming into shore. Exhaling, maybe imagining those waves leaving the shore. Inhale and exhale. Just one more breath here. And then we'll walk the hands back, roll up through the spine, open the front shoulders, and bring the feet to the mat. Gently bring those legs out in front, soles together, and pick up the hips to bring them as close as you wish towards the heels. And this is our butterfly pose. Okay. So we have the option here to either stay upright or to fold forward. And in yin, we allow the back to roll, we allow the shoulders to roll. Let's try and not grasp and not hold. This is part of the practice. So if we can take the palms upwards towards the sky, find your comfortable butterfly, and then return to the breath, inhaling into the belly. Exhaling, softening. Nice, slow, full breaths into the belly. And as you exhale, feel the breath leave and feel some tension leave with it. See if we can soften and smooth that breath out. Just like the waves rolling in and rolling out. We have one more minute in this pose. Breathing in to the belly, exhaling nice and smooth and slow, letting the belly soften. For 2 more breaths, inhaling. One more breath. And then we'll start to roll up through the spine, the lower spine, the middle spine, the upper spine. Roll open the shoulders and bring the hands to the outer knees to close those legs together and hug them in. Okay. We're going to come on to our spines once again. Keeping the feet on the mat just for a moment. Take one breath to allow the back to feel comfortable, let go of any tension. And then we'll extend both legs down the mat. Maybe even tuck the shoulder blades down towards the waist. And then we're going to come into a lying down tree shape. We're going to bring the right sole up the inside of the left leg, sliding the right sole up the inside of your left leg until you find your edge, and then just let go. Let go of the left leg, let go of the right leg, any tension in the buttocks or the lower back. Just Inhale into the belly. Exhale, let everything melt. And this is our supine tree. We'll be here for 1 minute. Either focusing on the breath, maybe imagining waves rolling in and out, or contemplating on what it is that you may be clinging onto in your life that maybe is bringing some unwanted suffering. Breathing and expanding into the belly. Exhaling and softening. Letting everything drop. Ground. Just 2 more breaths. And then we'll slide the right foot down the inside of the left leg. Just feel the difference. And then bring the left sole to the inside of the right leg. Slide it up, up, up. And then once you've found your edge, inhale into the belly. Exhale, let everything go, let everything melt. Softening around the hips, around the lower back, around the legs, all through the legs, through the feet even into the face. Maybe now noticing how the breath is longer as you fill up on the inhalation. And maybe it's even smoother and slower as you exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Two more breaths in our supine tree. And then we'll start to slide that left foot down, down, down. And just be here for a breath. And maybe notice any difference in hips, pelvis area. Okay, then we're going to bring the feet onto the mat. We're going to hug those knees into the front of the body. Take 4 or 5 breaths, just inhaling into the belly against the legs. Exhale. Feel the belly soften and maybe draw those legs in just a millimeter or 2. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, squeeze a little tighter. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take 1 more breath here. And exhale, tight. Okay, releasing the feet back onto the mat. Now we're going to take a supported bridge pose. Now, if you took 1 block before, maybe take 2 blocks or 2 cushions or whatever you are using. And we're going to keep our feet on the mat this time. So pressing into the feet, soles on the mat. We're going to slide, lift up the hips as high as you can to slide those 2 blocks or 2 cushions, or whatever it is that you have about that height under the sacrum. And feel that lift in the hips. Now you can walk the feet away a little bit, but do keep the feet on the mat this time. And just let the arms drop, let the shoulders be comfortable, let the front of the shoulders feel open. Shoulder blades, maybe lift them slightly and tuck them towards each other and down. The chin slightly tucked into the chest. And just let go as much as you can around the hips, around the pelvis. This dense bone, just let it feel heavy and supported. We'll be here for another minute. Going back to the breath. Or back to your contemplation on causes of possible causes of suffering. What is it that I'm clinging to? Do I consider the impact of experiences on myself heavily? Do I hold on to pleasurable experiences closely? Two more breaths. And then we're going to lift up the hips, lift them high, high, high as you press into the feet to slide out the block or blocks. And then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, from the top of the spine, release the middle of the shoulders, shoulder blades, then the middle of the back. And then the lower back, the curve. And then let the sacrum feel heavy, the pelvis feel absolutely grounded. Just staying there for another breath. And again, roll over to one side and come up to a seated position. This time we're going to start with all fours, finding toes tucking, and then finding our downward dog, lifting the knees, lifting the tailbone. And you can walk out on the spot if that feels nice around the hips. Okay. So from here, we're going to make our way into a sleeping swan shape, or in Hatha, that's known as pigeon. Yeah. So we're going to pick up the right leg, maybe reach that right foot back first, and then bend the right knee to bring it over towards the right wrist as the right foot goes across the mat somewhat, and then slide those left toes back so that you feel a nice long length in that left leg. Try and keep the foot in line with your left hip. So it tends to go out. So let's keep it in nice straight line with the left hip. And first we grow tall through the spine, lift that crown up, heart forward. And then we keep that right hip lifted and we come to the forearms. We might rest the forehead on the heels of the hands, or we might come all the way down to a little tower of fists, or all the way back to the back of the hands. So this is our sleeping swan, and we'll be here for 2 minutes. So take some of the weight, bear some of the weight to the front of the left leg. So maybe roll that left hip to the left a little more, and you should feel the difference, a little bit more weight assisting the left hip down as well as the right. And then going back to the breath, inhaling, expanding into the belly, exhaling softly. Inhale, expand, and exhale, soften. Every exhalation, releasing and letting go of anything that we're clinging on to that no longer is good for us to hold on to. Let the exhalation melt it away into the ground. Letting go of any tension in the body and melting closer and closer to the earth. You have 2 more breaths in this pose. And then we're going to come back up onto the hands. We're going to tuck the back toes to lift that back leg gently off the mat, and then take that front foot all the way back to find downward dog. Maybe walk it out gently. And then be still. Lifting up the left leg behind us. We bring that left knee towards the left wrist, left foot across the mat somewhat. Again, slide those right toes back. And you could peek just behind you to see if that right foot is in line with your right hip. Keeping the left hip lifted, try and be parallel in the hips. Grow tall through the spine. And then find your sleeping position for your swan. Taking a little bit more weight over to the right. So almost like just rolling into the front of the right leg. Just a little to feel the right side of the pelvis coming closer towards the left heel, possibly towards the ground. And just going back to the breath now. Inhaling. The waves coming into shore, bringing something new. And then the waves take away the water from the shore, taking away anything that is no longer needed. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Allowing the body to open its own weight to assist this opening. Just breathing, sleeping in this swan position for 2 more breaths. And then we'll come back onto our hands. We'll tuck the back toe. No, sorry, we won't do that. We'll this time let the left hip drop and bring that right leg carefully forward. Extending both legs forward. And then our next pose, caterpillar. We're going to thread the arms under the legs. And then start to slide one heel and the other whilst keeping belly to thigh connection. Yeah, so this is, we find our edge by just gently nudging the heels forward, keeping the belly and the thighs connected. And when we have our edge and we can't go any further, we let the head drop. And just breathe, inhaling, expanding into the belly against the legs. Exhaling, maybe sending the heels a little further, let them slide a millimeter or 2 more away. 1 minute to go. Inhaling and exhale. Letting the legs feel heavy, as if they want to open against the mat. If you do wish to slide the hands away, let the hands come out and just allow the back of the legs to drop closer and closer, maybe even straighten into the legs. Belly to thigh connection. Two more breaths. Okay, we're going to start walking the fingers back, rolling up through the spine, lower spine, mid spine, upper spine, open up the shoulders. Okay. And then we'll find our way into our next pose. Bringing our knees onto the mat into an all fours position. Knees together in the center of the mat. You might need to have a block handy for this, just by your side. Yeah. So we're going to bring that right knee forward and then cross it over the left leg here. Widen the heels, the feet behind you. So, and then walk the fingers back. We're going to grab that block and see if we can sit on that block. How's that? Yeah, just about. You could take 2 blocks. And this is our shoelace pose. In Hatha, it's Gau Mukasana, cow face legs. So we're aiming for the knees to be in line. If this is not working for you at all, then the left leg can go straight in front and the right knee just bearing its own weight on top of the left leg. And the hands, palms upwards, just gently sitting on the top of that right leg. You can stay tall or you can roll over. You might even release the hands down. You might even find the chin on the knee or the forehead or the face somewhere resting on the top leg. It's your choice. We'll be here for just 1 minute. Closing down the eyes. Always a lovely sensation, helping us to travel inwards, to focus on the breath in the belly. Maybe on that picture of waves coming in and out of shore. Or maybe working with an intention to find what it is that we are clinging to. Just 2 more breaths. And then blink open the eyes. Let's switch legs by walking the hands forward. Uncrossing the right knee and maybe just threading that right knee behind the left. And then we're ready to walk back with the left leg on top. So crossing the left knee in front of the right. That's it. And then walking back. Widening the feet apart as much as they will. And settling onto the seat, supported by a block or two. Allowing the back of the hands to rest. Or to curl over the legs. Just 1 minute here in our shoelace pose. Feeling deep sensations in the hips. Allowing the shoulders to relax. And then maybe even letting go of any holding, clinging around the hips and the legs. We have 2 more breaths here. Blinking your eyes open. Let's come out of the pose. Maybe walk the hands forward. Uncrossing the legs. And then we'll come on to our spines. Sit down, bring those legs forward, feet on the mat. Sit somewhere in the center. And we'll roll down onto the mat. We'll bring the knees into the chest, Apanasana. And then just for a few breaths, we'll pick up the soles of the feet into a happy baby pose. Maybe the hands come around the back of the knees to draw those legs down. Or we hold the ankles to allow the knees and the legs to drop. Or we wrap the hands around the feet, the outer edges of the feet. Inhaling. Exhale, let the tailbone drop, let the lower spine drop. Wonderful. Inhale. Exhale, relax the tail. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more breath. And then we'll release holding the feet or the legs and draw those legs in again into Apanasana. Hug those knees in, the thighs in, and then release the feet down onto the mat. It is time now for relaxation, Shavasana. So you can use whatever support you wish, maybe a roll under the knees, maybe a blanket under the head, maybe a blanket covering you. There are cushions for your eyes, eye pillows, if you wish to cover the eyes. Just take a moment to find your Shavasana shape. Inhaling into the nose, into the belly, and exhale, let everything go, let everything melt. Trying to let go of the body and as much of the mind as we can too. Although thoughts still float around, we aim to lessen the thoughts, the mind activity. Relaxing the feet, letting the toes and the ankles loose and relax. Feeling relaxed around the knees and the thighs, all the way up the legs to the hips, making sure both sides are equally anchored. Feeling all the organs in the belly softening and relaxing against the back body. The rib cage, both sides equally weighted, as are the shoulders. The backs of the hands resting against the floor with the fingers gently curling in. The neck and the ears relaxed and soft. The forehead with no wrinkles, no tension in the brows. Everything is smooth and soft. Begin to soften the breath to a whisper. Taking ourselves away from the outer world just for a few moments to visit our inner space. Noticing your mind activity lessening, the thoughts lessening. Maybe giving your attention, noticing any responses to any of your questions today. We're going to very gently return our attention to the body, feeling the outline, the edges, sensations on the skin. Inhaling. Some more prana coming into the body, more energy to start gently moving into the fingers and the toes, into the ankles and the feet and the wrists, the hands. Beginning to move gently into the arms and the legs. Maybe roll them in and out, or taking any sort of movement that helps you wake up. When you're ready, the feet can come onto the mat, and then we'll hug those knees into the body again. Squeeze the thighs into the front of the body. Squeezing tight into Apanasana. Maybe sway side to side if that feels nice on your lower back. And then roll over onto your left side. Letting everything rest on the left. Legs and the arms and the head. Feet. Blinking open your eyes, adjusting to the light or the dim in your room. And once your senses are fully switched on, come up into a seated position. Sit up nice and tall now, lifting the crown up towards the sky. Hands down by the hips, and then we'll gather up the energy into the palms. Send some out there to the universe, and maybe to someone you know needs it. And then some to yourself, your mind for pure thoughts, to your mouth for kind words, to your heart for compassionate actions. Namaste, everyone.